Oh, I'm back. Sup? Alright. I'm all set up. I properly set everything up. It's time to just get right into it. Street Fighter's Last Cry. I have no idea. I have no idea what Banshee's Last Cry even is. I like mystery games though, so it's something that I think I should probably check out at some point. Oh, Oh. Alright. Not wrong. I am actually doing this. Suck a dick. What the fuck? When I came to, I found myself in front of a fancy building. This is the Kung Fu Wong Villa Resort. What the fuck is happening? A girl appearing as a blue silhouette spoke to me in a friendly voice. A resort? It all came back to me as I considered what she said. Kung Fu Kong Corporation, a renowned martial arts conglomerate, runs this facility for fighters from all over. As a fighter myself, I've been invited here. We appear as blue silhouettes to hide our true identities and prevent needless confrontations between red-blooded fighters. Okay. I'm a guest at this resort too. I go by Grace here. What's your name? She asked. My mind searched for the answer. I'm Max. Nice to meet you. My name's not Max. Fuck you. Grace chuckled in response. Well, let's get going. The glass door in front of us gleamed brightly in the evening twilight, as if beckoning us to use it. From this moment on, I would spend the night here, using Max as my alias. A wave of excitement for what awaited me washed up my body as I pushed open the door. The Banshee in Street Fighter's last cry. This is so weird, dude. I thought we'd be walking around and shit. I didn't think it would just be like images and all that. Welcome, Max and Grace, I presume. A man of medium build greeted us at the spacious entrance. My name is William Forrest. At least here it is. The apron he wore and his calm demeanor gave him the appearance of resort management, but he was also a guest. But yeah. I've been visiting here for a long time, so they've put me in charge of managing things while I'm present. He then took a moment to explain a few things to Grace and me, as if it was our first time visiting. Let's go over some ground rules. First, no snooping around in others' business. Second, just because we're all fighters doesn't mean you can go around picking fights. Fighters took on new identities here in order to unwind and relax. As long as you follow those simple rules, feel free to do as you like. There's a game room and a billiard room, and the food here is quite good. William added, winking as if he had just sealed a great deal. And here are your room keys, a voice called from behind the reception desk nearby. A woman in an apron similar to William's stood there, smiling gently. That's Colleen. Like me, she's a veteran around here and helps out with things behind the scenes. At the mention of her name, Colleen nodded politely. A whiteboard in front of the reception listed all the room numbers the guests currently staying at the resort. Yeah, I fucked that, I don't care. Max, your room is 206. Grace, 207. So 205 and 204 seem to have been switched. She explained as she handed us our keys. I doubt whatever mystery they're gonna do here is gonna be that complex. Because I'm not talking to mystery fans, they're gonna be talking to fighting game players. The guest rooms are upstairs on the second floor. They should be ready for you, but since dinner is about to be served, you can wait in the lounge if you'd like. Colleen suggested, pointing at the area next to the stairs. The lounge was cozy, furnished with a rustic fireplace. A large coffee table surrounded by sofas, enough to seat about 10 people. True to its name, it seemed like the perfect place to relax and chat. I think I'll wait here. Grace explained as she threw herself onto the sofa. She stretched and let out a satisfied sigh. Having seen her embrace relaxation, I had decided to follow suit. Crossing the entrance, I sat down on the sofa opposite Grace. Busy with dinner preparations, William and Colleen hurried into the kitchen at the back of the first floor. Without anything particular to talk about, I absentmindedly gazed at Grace. Even though her form was obscured by a blue silhouette, I could still make out the expression on her face. Her eyes, dark and deep, locked onto mine, her smile radiating a warmth that felt both inviting and disarming. Even the way she sat, her head tilted ever so slightly, was endearing. There was no doubt she was an attractive girl. I couldn't help but wonder what kind of fighter she was. Yeah. Just as I started to imagine, I quickly shook my head. I'd been warned not to involve myself in others' business. Here I was obsessing over the first cute girl I see. How pathetic, I thought to myself. True! 3 girls chattered loudly while descending the stairs in a line. What the heck are we even supposed to do here? A pretty but somewhat rigid girl asked as she led the group. We eat as much as we want and then go back to our room to watch TV, replied the smiling girl trailing along, who had a round, jolly appearance. This just Sea Viper's story? No, this is a completely separate thing. Sea Viper has her own story. This is just some collaboration event Capcom just decided to do. This has nothing to do with anybody. This is just something they did. The bespectacled tomboyish girl in the middle shrugged her shoulders in exasperation. Okay, I'm gonna go off on a limb, by the way. I think these are Street Fighter characters. I think this is... oh my... no, it's bespectacled. Never mind those glasses. I don't know who that is. I take that back. Might as well get some use out of the TV after Debbie was so annoying about getting a room with one. I said I was sorry, Molly. Debbie responded apologetically, absent-mindedly practicing her sumo as she did. I don't want to miss the sumo tournament, that's all. Honestly, why would you waste your time here watching TV? Rigo responded, furrowing her eyebrows. There's no reason to get so angry, Tiffany, Debbie explained. Suddenly, Grace asked me softly, all 3 of them are pretty cute, huh? Which one would you choose? Shut the fuck. What is this? What's happening? I faltered. Was she talking about a sparring partner or a date? Unsure, I hesitated before responding. Yeah, I figured. You know what? You're here. Rosie, you're here. You tell me. I feel like I have to catch up, though. Whatever. You know, this is a good chance to see how delayed the stream is. Not that delayed, okay. I just now saw your, We're going with C? We're going with C. The charming Debbie. You've got a type, huh? Grace joked as she squinted her eyes playfully, knowing she was getting a rise out of me. But you know, that's not allowed, right? We can't go around picking fights, remember? Oh, you meant as a sparring partner. That's right, we're all fighters here after all. What did you think I meant? God, stupid idiot. I mean... My response trailed off awkwardly. Suddenly, the sound of a car engine broke the silence. It continued to grow louder, then came to a stop. Bro is stanced up! Look at him! Yeehaw! Here at last! A middle-aged man with broad shoulders, a rugged look, and speaking in a distinct southern accent stormed in. And then there was his wife, a delicate woman with a fragile, almost melancholic aura accompanying him. Buchanan's welcome! William raced out of the kitchen to greet Buchanan's welcome! William raced out of the kitchen to greet them. How was your trip here? Well, the car held up okay. The roads were rough once it got to snowing. Glad we made it here before everything froze. As he spoke, we could see the small flakes of snow were now contained in the blowing wind outside. The cuckoo clock on the wall by the entrance squawked 7 times. It was already 7 p.m. William, shall we start serving dinner? Asked a petite woman who approached from across the room. She was dressed in a work uniform, suggesting her position was to help around the resort. Why, yes, Abby, please, if you will. Abby replied with a cheerful uh-huh and led us to the dining hall. The dining hall was spacious, filled with tables covered in white cotton cloth, each one evenly spaced apart. The trio of girls from before and the Buchanans took their seats at their respective tables. There was a dude way in the back. It seemed everyone assumed Grace and I were a couple as we were seated across from each other. What the fuck am I reading wrong? It seemed everyone assumed Grace and I were a couple as we were seated across from each other at the same table. I can't wait. Grace smiled across the table, her eyes shining. Yeah, me too. Seems like the food here is pretty famous, I added as she tilted her head slightly in response. It's not just the food, she said with a smile. I get the feeling something's about to happen, don't you? About to happen? Like what? It feels like we've all come here and become people just a little bit different than our usual selves. For some reason, it feels like we have a part to play. A part to play? I wonder what that could be. I looked over at William, who was preparing at the kitchen counter. You mean like we'll start helping out at the resort like William? Yeah, something like that, Grace replied while nodding. I think being with you is also part of it. Something might happen to us together. The thought that I might have a greater purpose here made a fresh wave of excitement wash over me. I grinned. Not AB. I won't be saying it. I'm not taking requests on that one. That must mean your part here is to guide me. That must mean your part here is to guide me. Who knows? A mysterious smile curled on her lips. Before I realized dinner had come to an end. I was so focused on chatting I barely noticed the food. Nothing better than a cup of tea after a meal. A man approached our table. With his sleeveless shirt showing off his beefy arms, he carried 2 cups filled near spilling. I'm sorry, the Street Fighter, they're obviously using the Street Fighter models, like the character creation thing. It's so funny. So weird. He set the tea down, half of it spilling onto the table, and then gave a thumbs up with his calloused hand. His thumb's pretty fucked up. Why is it bending like that? Uh-oh. Everyone says I make a killer, huh? He introduced himself as Bobby. Like Abby, he helped out around the resort. Nice to meet you. He laughed out as he slapped my back in jest. I figured it was a friendly gesture, but honestly, it hurt. It seems he didn't quite have a sense of his own strength. Despite most of it spilling, the tea was still refreshing. I set the cup down and suddenly caught a scent in the air. That smells good. What is that? As I searched for the source of the aroma, my eyes landed on a man at the corner table, casually tilting his cup. His hunched posture seemed oddly suspicious. Wesker. Over there, that's John, Abby said quietly as she came to clear our table. I believe he's adding cinnamon to his tea. He always spices it up. My God. The resort boasted an array of tea options, where adding milk and lemon was only the beginning. Shall we? Prompted by Grace, we left the dining hall. As we passed by the entrance, the girls from before were making a fuss. It was outside our window! Molly exclaimed as she furrowed her brow in confusion. I'm sure it wasn't there before dinner, Debbie added in dismay. I made sure the door windows were locked, Tiffany chimed in, bristling. Please calm down. There's no need to worry. You found this outside your window, you say? William was holding a piece of paper in his hand. Intrigued, I leaned in to take a closer look. The following was written. Night at midnight equal B. Some letters were partially faded and nearly illegible. For some reason, I felt like I could read them. This means someone will dance? I'm gonna say die. Doesn't it say someone will die at midnight? What do you mean someone will die at midnight? That's so scary! Debbie panicked, her pudgy hands covering her mouth. This must be a joke, said Tiffany harshly. She looked at me with a hard stare. Cornered, I held up my hands defensively. Someone will die at midnight! I don't even know why I interrupted it that way. It was like a strange sense of deja vu, like this had all happened before. Or maybe it's all predetermined, like an endless cycle, and it will all happen again. What's going on down there? The Buchanans came downstairs and joined the conversation. Taste took the paper from William's hand and snorted. They stuck this to the second floor window? Without no ladder or nothing? They must be out of their mind. Apparently the window in the next room was too far away to reach just by hand. The wind must have blown it in from somewhere and got stuck up there. He had a point. That was indeed a possibility. Chase turned toward the girls who were looking upset and flashed a grin that revealed the shine of his gold tooth. Now you gals better turn those frowns upside down, you hear? Whether true or not, Chase's swaggered speech lightened the mood, leaving everyone feeling a little less tense. He had a point. There was indeed a possibility. Chase turned toward the girls, who were looking upset, and flashed a grin that revealed... Oh wait, hold on, I read that already! Whether true or not, just... The girls headed back to their room as they muttered, while William returned to cleaning up. I looked away for like a split second. For some reason, I found myself sitting down on the sofa in the lounge with the Buchanans. Thanks for calming everyone down back there. That's what I'm here for, friend, Chase said with a smug expression painted on his face. Well, I may not look it, but I'm the head honcho of a big old team back home. And when you're leading, you can't let even the littlest problem slide, you get me? He gave off a somewhat shady impression, but maybe there's more to him than meets the eye. Chase leaned forward as I couldn't help but be impressed. Someone like you, a youngin', I can whip you into shape and make you something real special. I gulped. Really? You're damn straight I can. Join the team, train up a bit, you'll be hot shot lickety split. I wasn't sure what kind of team it was, but the idea of being a leader sounded pretty cool. Chase continued pressing me. How about it, Max? Wanna join me? Considered for a moment for answering. Fuck it, I'm in! Give me in that. I'm in. You got me, dude. You convinced me. Sign me up. Yeet! Chase puffed out his chest with a grin. Then it's a deal. We better get moving. From then, things started moving fast. Chase took me to the town where the team was located. And from there, I was under his command. I began as an errand boy, but slowly made my way up the ranks. Eventually, I became Chase's right-hand man. I think I just got an ending. 30 years of sleepless nights and giving it my all. Having steered the team's success, I thought it was time to unwind and visit the resort again to reward myself. Ah, here at last! My car fought through the blizzard to reach its destination. Few guests were already at the resort, it seemed. Wait a fucking minute here. Little did I know, this was just the beginning. It was going to be a long, harrowing night. Yeehaw! I'm the leader! So we just looped? Is that all that happened? Okay. No, okay, no, hold on. No. No, that's not what I meant! Also, damn, that was... That's completely... Chapters... How many chapters are there? Let's take a look at this. It's not that long. I'm pretty... An invitation, that's where I'm at. Okay, we're just gonna... Till we get to the question so I can skip it. Sorry, I don't think so. I couldn't agree with something I knew nothing about. I apologized and declined. Amber Buchanan laughed. I must apologize on behalf of my husband. He always gets like this whenever he sees someone he thinks he can use. Come on now. Chase's face tensed up like he just sucked on a lemon. Huh? Grace turned her gaze to the window and let out a noise. I think a little animal just ran by or something. I also glanced over. The snow and wind were picking up outside. A flicker of light reflected off the landscape outside. The headlights of a car? That's not an animal. Seems like a car. The car drew closer, and the entrance door opened. Hello, everyone! It is I, the one and only Jonas Fardberg, here to dazzle you with the presence of this fine day. A man with a thick beard shouted loudly. In one hand, he carried a long stick with a camera attached to the end of it. Must be one of those influencers, Chase questioned under his breath. Meanwhile, Jonas kept on talking to his camera. The man known as Jonas twirled in place as he spoke, catching himself from all different angles. See, I'm going back to my previous thought. I feel like a lot of these guys are just, like, they're making a point, like how this blue silhouette thing's hiding who they look like. I wonder if that's Rashid. I think so. I don't know, that may not be it. That's just me, though. We'll see. He was clearly recording a video. Excuse me, sir, William proclaimed as he rushed over. Could you please refrain from recording in the lobby? You need special permission to do so. The tone in William's voice was more stern than usual. Ah, sorry, my man. Jonas shrugged and quickly put his camera away. Having finished his check-in, Jonas walked into the lounge without a hint of shame. Watch out, coming through! His tanned face looked tough, but the grin on his bearded lips seemed rather shallow. He plopped down next to Grace without even asking. Call me Jonas. My channel is called Fight. I do vids and streams. You probably checked out my stuff before, right? His Fight It channel, as the name suggests, hosted footage of battles between fighters. I fought all kinds of opponents. Beefhead wrestlers, you name it. Jonas bragged, clearly proud of his accomplishments. But fighting's against the rules here, right? For a moment, I thought I saw Jonas's eyes narrow. But just as quickly, he returned to his usual light-hearted tone to continue talking. Of course, this is a place for fighters to chill, you know? Random fights, totally off limits. I get that, but... He leaned in and lowered his voice as if sharing a secret. But we're all still fighters. I've heard some gnarly stuff happens on the down low. Interesting. Maybe this place wasn't all tea and biscuits after all. Jonas flashed a sly grin and continued. Plus, there are other rumors about this resort. Jonas stroked his beard, letting silence linger. Ever heard of the Banshee? It's a freaky creature with sharp blades of wind that can, slice people up. A creature said to live in the woods, the Banshee. It was a local folktale around these parts. It lurks in the woods with its long, scythe-like nails. Man, the wind's going tonight. Perfect Banshee weather, Jonas said as if he was telling a ghost story. Like gold. Have you come here to film it, I asked? He shook his head. Nah, I'm just here to vibe like everyone else. But hey, if I catch something cool, I got my camera. Please, let's keep the filming to a minimum. William interrupted, his tone firm as he appeared seemingly out of nowhere. Right, Jonas replied, scratching his head awkwardly. The conversation shifted to getting drinks, but I stood up alone, quietly excusing myself. To be honest, I've been fighting the urge to take a leak. The bathroom was just down the stairs. The Banshee, huh? It sounded ridiculous, but in a place like this, with a storm raging outside, I'm not sure I'd be so surprised if something really did pop out. As I was taking care of business, a chill ran down my spine. And that's when I heard something. A scream so haunting it seemed to come from another world. What was that? I panicked and burst out of the bathroom. I didn't even pull up my pants. It's still dripping. I wasn't sure, but I had a feeling it came from the game room. As I nervously made my way down the hallway, a shadow suddenly appeared before me. Whoa! I gasped in shock. It was Bobby! He was panting heavily, clearly flustered. Bobby, I heard a scream. He responded quickly before I could say anything else. Yeah, I heard it too. From the billiard room, I think. Bobby's fingers pointed at the far end of the game room. What was that just now? Did you hear it too? William appeared, rushing over. Bobby's voice rose as if to will William to move faster. Perfect timing, William. Do you have the key? The key? The key to the billiard room. For some reason, the billiard room was locked, and William was the one responsible for holding the resort's keys. Bobby was apparently aware of this. In fact, he had just been going to find William to get the key. Are you sure you heard the scream from in there? William asked, stopping just in front of the door. Bobby nodded in response. I can see the lights flickering inside through the frosted glass window. I'm opening the door now. William pulled a set of keys from his apron pocket. He released the lock with a small metallic click. After a brief pause, he turned the doorknob. We stepped through the door carefully and with hesitation. The flickering light made it difficult to get a clear sense of what was inside. The room looked normal, with a large billiard table standing in the center. We nervously huddled together and walked around it. And there, behind the table, we saw it. Holy shit. I couldn't tell if the pitiful scream had come from me, Bobby, or William. It was likely that all three of us had yelped. What we saw was beyond words, an unspeakable sight. Dead body. The man's body lay twisted on the floor, unnaturally. Okay, so this is... I don't believe they're gonna do a full-blown mystery. As I was saying, like, I thought the other guy was Rashid, because, like, the whole streamer thing. Look at the way this guy's twisted. It's voltage. But I think this is Dulcim. I think that no one's gonna look like how they normally do, and that's the gimmick. We'll see, though. We'll see. You know, actually, it is possible. Those three girls, I'm pretty sure... God, what are their names? Oh my god, there's... Oh. Okay, no, this is bothering me. I'm gonna pull their names up real quick. 1 minute. SF. 5 characters. They're not strictly Street Fighter 5 characters, it's just gonna be easier to look it up because they're all in that game. I don't know why I'm forgetting names though. Those three girls are, and I'm only speculating. I should. Karen, the rich snobby girl with the white girl normal. Sakura. God, who's the ninja girl? Who the hell's the ninja girl? Forget the ninja girl, but I'm just gonna say ninja girl. I should know her name, but screw me. But yeah, that's who I think those three are. Ugh. But let's see how this plays out then. Man's body lay twisted on the floor unnaturally. His face was turned behind his back. His white eyes stared blankly into the void. Every part of his body was contorted like a rag that was wrung out. It looked as if the blood-curdling scream he had heard had been wrung out from him by force. Let's back up. Taki? Yeah, I think so. John! No, Kimberly is the ninja of this game. I'm talking about a ninja from a different game. Like, from previous games. Ibuki! That's her name. William muttered in a... It's John! William muttered in a trembling voice. Bobby, his face drained of color, shook his head silently. We couldn't bring ourselves to look any longer and slowly stepped away from the body. After a long pause, William finally spoke. Let's leave him as he is, for now. Not contaminating the scene seemed to be William's priority. We shouldn't touch anything or leave fingerprints behind. What about the back door? I pointed to it and asked. It was left wide open, battered by the wind, rattling violently. Evidence could be lost if we didn't do something. Yes, let's close it, William said, and I shut the door. I grabbed the knob using the hem of my shirt and locked it with a twist. We left the room and locked the inner door behind us. Now no one could enter the billiard room. Should we call the police? Bobby murmured in a hoarse voice, and William responded, Yes, let's go upstairs and call them from reception. We returned to the first floor, and William gathered all the guests in the lounge. He tells them something has happened, but stay calm. He then walked over and grabbed the phone at the reception desk. What in tarnation? Tell us what's going on. The questions came pouring in as I gestured with my hands, signaling to calm everyone down. After taking a deep breath, I spoke. Someone has died. Died? What? Oh no! Everyone reacted in shock. Bobby, usually so confident, was trembling, and the tremor in my own voice made it clear that this was no joke. I spoke slowly, recounting what we had seen. The person who had died was likely John. The inner door to the billiard room had been locked. The back door leading outside had been left wide open. Are you saying it was murder? Jonas asked, sounding serious. Could you have been mistaken? Colleen inquired. She spoke as if she was trying to will that to be the case. I shook my head. I recalled the unnaturally twisted body. His neck twisted around to the back. His empty white eyes staring vacantly. The entire body was twisted like a rag, as if someone had gripped a doll and wrung it with all their strength. A hush settled over everyone. Each person struggled to comprehend the situation. It's no use. William's voice shattered the silence. The phone lines are down. The storm must have knocked them out, he muttered, shaking his head with a grim expression. Y'all could try using my cell phone. Chase stood up and offered his cell phone to William. Clouded with concern, Chase's face dropped. What? No signal? That's right, William said with a sigh. We've intentionally made sure cell phones don't get service up here to help everyone disconnect and relax. We could drive to a spot with a signal, Jonas suggested. No, the roads are likely frozen solid, William said bitterly. If we got into an accident, we'd be stranded. The storm was strengthening by the minute. The surroundings of the resort had disappeared into darkness, and the blinding snowstorm obscured any view. Venturing outside recklessly didn't seem like a wise choice. The cuckoo clock on the wall cheerfully chimed 9 times. It was already 9 p.m. Someone will die at midnight, someone muttered quietly. I froze. Without thinking, I pulled out the note I'd absent-mindedly put in my pocket. Could it have something to do with John's death? It's not even midnight yet. Does that mean the killer jumped the gun? Molly said, the bespectacled girl on the verge of tears. This is awful. A murderer? Where did they go? Abby's voice pitched with panic as she spoke. Unease began to spread through the room. Can't take this anymore, Debbie shrieked, her voice shrill and desperate. What is even happening? I want to go home. Calm down, Debbie. Tiffany tried to soothe her, but even her typically composed demeanor couldn't mask the worry in her eyes. That's right, let's all calm down, a quiet voice suddenly spoke, interrupting the chaos. It was Grace. She looked around at everyone and continued. Even if the note is a threat, the killer may have deliberately written the wrong time to distract us. There's no point in dwelling on it. She was as calm, as steady as ever. The most important thing is understanding the killer's motive. If John was the target, then the murderer has probably already escaped. She had a point. Why would the killer stay near the crime scene? What we need to consider is the worst-case scenario. Grace paused and looked around at everyone again. What do you mean, worst-case scenario? Chase asked. Grace took a deep breath and replied, that someone else here is the next target. A murmur spread through the group. I picked up where Grace left off. If they are targeting someone else, then the killer might be hiding nearby. Exactly. If I were the killer, that's what I'd do, Grace said, nodding. Someone else? Debbie screamed again. Nothing's for certain. We're just considering all possibilities here, William said calmly, taking charge of the conversation. For now, let's check all the doors and windows. Good thinking. Alright, fellas, follow me. Chase took charge, showing off his leadership expertise. This is what a leader's supposed to do, he said, flashing a smug grin at the girls. Considering the situation, I decided that I should help out. Let's start from the second floor, William suggested, as we gathered in front of the stairs. William, Chase, Bobby, Jonas, and me. Five of us in total. Be careful, Grace said quietly, waving her hand to send us off. We nodded and began climbing the stairs. Give me a hot second. I need water. Oh my god, Liam. He came in just to be a little shit. Alright, anyway, I'm back. So, we started checking all of the guest rooms. We opened every door and inspected inside each one. The rooms appeared in order, and the windows were locked. The showers were all clear too. There was a small ventilation window in the hallway, but it was far too narrow for someone to fit through. Nobody here, Chase muttered, a hint of relief in his voice. Yeah, seems like it, I answered. A silent understanding passed between us. All of a sudden, a noise. It came from inside one of the rooms. What? What was that? Chase stuttered. It came from the storage room. Bobby pointed at the end of the hallway. There was a single door. That's where we keep cleaning supplies and things. There's enough space for a person to hide, William explained in a low voice. Storage room door was slightly ajar. We held our breath and silently surrounded it. One of us had to open the door to check inside, but who would it be? We exchanged glances. Our eyes all turned to one person. Me? Chase whispered, his voice barely audible. The rest of us nodded in unison. It looked like the leader was going to have to take the lead. Nab it! Chase gathered his resolve and grabbed the knob and slowly opened it. Suddenly, a tiny figure shot out. Cat. Yeah! What is that? What is that arrow? Chase yelped as he stumbled and fell on his backside. The figure zipped past him and dashed down the hallway. I think there's a slight error in here. What the hell is that arrow? A cat. William breathed, his voice laced with relief. Oh, it's Ruby. What was she doing in there? It appeared to be one of the resort's resident cats. That was everything on the second floor, including the storage room. Confirmed safe. We headed back down to the first floor. For a moment, I was startled by a scream I heard from the lounge area, but it turned out to be nothing to worry about. Ruby had rushed down to the first floor, earning a squeal of glee from Tiffany when she spotted her. Oh my gosh, a kitty! At this point, any distraction was a good one. We continued to check the first floor. Reception, the staff room. The dining hall, the kitchen. And finally, the bathrooms. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary, and every window was securely locked. At last, we made our way toward the game room. We carefully searched the gaps between the arcade machines. The only room left to search was the billiard room. We came to a stop in front of the door. The thought of facing a corpse again weighed heavily. William and Bobby's faces were just as tense. Yo, there's a body in there, right? Jonas' voice quivered, yet his eyes lit up with excitement. A camera had somehow appeared in his hands as if it was planning to capture the moment. Now wait just a moment. William shot a sharp glance at the camera. I hope you don't intend to use that. Of course not. Jonas quickly hid the camera behind his back. I'm just having a peek. No, we better not. William shook his head. We checked everything in there after we found the body earlier. No one was around, and we locked the back door. He was right. The billiard room should be completely secure. It was best not to interfere and preserve the scene. We explained our logic to Jonas and returned to the lounge. There was no sign of anything unusual within the resort. Hearing this, a sense of relief washed over everyone. As long as the front door was locked, no one would be able to get inside unless they broke through the window. All we had to do was stay vigilant through the night, keep an eye on the weather, then head out tomorrow. We could then contact the police, and everything would be fine. These thoughts cascaded through my mind like a waterfall, until one single thought became trapped in the current. Could the perpetrator really have escaped outside? Honestly, John's killer could be any of us. This possibility shouldn't be ruled out. I took a deep breath and spoke up. The killer? It could be any one of us. The sudden shift in the air left everyone uneasy. It was something they all vaguely sensed but hadn't dared to consider. I took the first leap into the unknown. There's someone here who doesn't have an alibi. A wave of excitement surged through me. Grace had said we each had a role to play here, and this might very well be mine. I was the detective, the one that could solve it all. With all eyes fixed on me, I continued. And that person is... I have an alibi. Race doesn't have an alibi for anything. Bobby's the big guy, isn't he? Who doesn't have an alibi? Oh my god, so what was happening when that initially happened? I'm trying to remember. So when the scream happened, I went to the bathroom. I was by myself. People were drinking. Jonas, Grace. I know Jonas and Grace were together. Who was Bobby again? Fuck. I'm trying to remember. Bobby was trying to look for Yeah, so yeah, Bobby's the big guy. Bobby's the big guy. Doesn't that just leave me? I'm gonna say Bobby. Because that's stupid to say me. Bobby's the big Bobby. Bobby's the one that stood out to me. Bobby emerged from the game room just after the scream. He claimed he was going to fetch the key, if we can believe that. He also helped around the resort. He likely had ample chances to make a spare key if he desired to. If we assume he had a spare key, Bobby could have locked the door after the crime, then pretended to go to get the real key, which is when I crossed paths with him. Something like that. Afterward, he could have discarded the spare key somewhere, or he could still be carrying it. Are you accusing me without any evidence? Bobby glared at me, his voice dripping with menace. If I search you and find a spare key, I'll make you eat those words if you want to. If you, I'll make you eat those words. If you want some, come get some. Oh shit! oh, oh. What the? Luke? What the fuck? That caught me off guard. Easy. Bobby was a tough opponent, but I somehow managed to take him down. His strength was no match for my brains. Huh, that's strange. No spare key, William mumbled quietly as he searched Bobby. He must have disposed of it somewhere. William gave me a puzzled look. Are you sure he's the culprit? Huh? Well, the possibility that he was the culprit wasn't exactly zero. But then again, there's no evidence to prove it. Well, maybe, I said, scratching my head. An unbearable silence filled the room. Did I do something wrong? I had. I just beat up someone with who was innocent. The group's gaze pierced through me like a sharp daggers. The case remained unresolved. Outside the resort, there was no sign of the storm ending. It felt like the night would stretch on forever. A long, hard night. So I was wrong. Oopsie doodles. Alright, let's try this again. I don't have a lot left. Is Rising Doubts the one I just did? Yeah, okay, so now I just gotta pick something else. So, who do I say? The real answer is probably it's too early to be sure, but now I want to fight everyone. I want to confirm something. Jonas! Thinking about it, Jonas showing up late was suspicious. He looked at me with a strained smile. Yo, when we heard that scream, I was right here, just saying. That may be true, but he was right. But there was a hole in his story. I told him. You've no. Well, let's see what I'm gonna do here. You're wearing a disguise. A disguise? Joe shouted in a bewildered voice. You think this beard's fake or what? My intuition told me he was lying. I grabbed Jonas's beard and yanked it as hard as I could. He screamed in pain. Oh, the feel of his beard was unmistakably real. What the hell are you doing? Jonas pushed me away with a thud. Why the heck would I need a disguise anyway? Well, I hadn't thought about it. I couldn't answer. You're just trying to act like you've got it all figured out to seem cool. Jonas glared at me while stroking his beard. Sorry. I shrank back, feeling small. Well, William, who had been unusually silent, raised his voice as he made up his mind. Let's check around the outside of the resort. A whisper spread through the group. William continued in a calm tone. Quickly checking the surroundings should give us some reassurance there's nothing to worry about, yes? Count me in. Bobby stepped forward. It was the same group as before. I knew I should go too. Jonas also stood up, presumably thinking the same thing. Pace didn't move. I reckon I stay here and look after ladies. He was likely feeling the sting of embarrassment of having screamed at nothing but a little cat. We set off as a group of 4. At Jonas's suggestion, we decided to split into 2 groups and circle the mansion from opposite sides. This way, we could surround anyone that we come across. We'll meet around back. Agreeing with William, I started walking alongside Bobby. We circled the outer wall, going left as the wind and snow blustered around us. William and Jonas moved in the opposite direction. Despite the darkness, lights were scattered across the area, faintly illuminating our surroundings. At the half point, I turned my gaze to the forest. Who could possibly stay out of here in conditions like this? It seemed unthinkable. Just as that thought crossed my mind, we fucked up! A scream cut through the air. Bob and I looked at each other in worry. We ran toward the back of the mansion. I hurried forward, glancing around, but the pelting snow stung my face, making it hard to see. As I turned the corner, a figure suddenly appeared. Ah! I didn't even have time to react. The figure lunged forward. Guile. I'm being attacked by Guile. Former combo that deals 6 times. We'll see. Damn, okay. Fuck you, man. Oh my god. Do I even have a level 3? Okay. Yes, I do. Fuck! Fuck it up. Well, there you go. I tried. In the heat of the moment, I somehow took my opponent down. I knelt down, unable to believe my eyes. William? The figure that had lunged at me. It was him. Ugh. Groaning, William spoke in broken sentences. He explained that he had been suddenly hit from behind during his patrol. And right after that, I ran into you. He had mistaken me for the one who had attacked him. It was simply the result of poor visibility. Was the one who hit you the murderer? Was it Jonas? Bobby asked, nearly frozen with surprise. Where is he now? The storm grew fiercer, cloaking everything in an icy veil. Jonas, are you out there? Bobby's scream echoed in the void, his voice a desperate plea, but the wilderness swallowed it whole. William fainted, and only silence remained. Jonas's absence was unsettling, but considering the situation, looking for him would be futile. We should get him to safety, I said, and Bobby nodded in agreement. Together, we lifted the limp body and made our way back to the entrance. Jonas went after William, and then Max just knocked him out clean. What in tarnation's going on here? I laid William down in the staff room and went back to the lounge, only to find Chase waiting there, eager to approach me. We're not entirely sure. Jonas may not have been the one who hit William, and because of that, we ended up fighting by accident when we ran into each other. I mumbled, struggling to explain. This ain't making a lick of sense. Chase's expression remained unclear, his confusion evident. The others in the lounge were looking uneasy too. I didn't blame them. A lot had happened. As Bobby and I kept explaining, everyone began to piece together what had actually happened. So you're saying Jonas did it? I shook my head to indicate my lack of confidence. If Jonas did attack William, then there must be some kind of reason why. It wasn't clear if this was all connected to John's murder. Either way, Jonas had seemingly vanished into thin air. There was nothing more I could add. So did you figure out anything else? Grace inquired. He was expecting me to evolve in my role as the detective. I tried to think hard, wanting to meet her expectations. Now that you mention it, we found the Banshee. That freaky thing Jonas was talking about? Chase asked as I nodded in response, turning to face everyone. The strange creature that slashes with blades of wind. I now knew the creature's true identity. The Banshee is... What? Why would I know this? Fuck you. Uh, Give me a minute. I guess I'll say William because he can do Giles moves list. I'm gonna say William. William. During our fight, William used techniques involving blades of wind. I recalled our battle. Yes, it made so much sense. William must have fought someone here before. And from those stories, rumors of the Banshee had spread. Come to think of it, when Jonas mentioned the Banshee, William quickly steered the conversation another way. He was worried about his true identity being uncovered. Could be, I reckon. Chase nodded. The others in the lounge seemed slightly impressed by my revelation. All of a sudden, another scream echoed through the air. That's Jonas. Huh? What the? No way. Everyone erupted in a flurry of confusion. Tension was etched on every face. The scream had come from downstairs. A sinking feeling told me it was coming from the billiard room once again. Let's go check it out, I said to no one in particular, then took off briskly. Bobby and Chase followed close behind. We stopped in front of the billiard room. Up until now, there had been no sign of anything unusual. Not here again. I felt a sense of deja vu from the flickering lights through the frosted glass as I reached the door handle. And then I noticed. Where's the key? Of course, William has it, Bobby responded. Should I go get it? No, ain't got time for that. Chase's voice was sharp. He was right. We couldn't spare a second. It's just a dang wooden door. Break it down, Chase exclaimed. Bobby kicked the area near the handle with all his strength. The hinges of the door whined as the lock snapped. The door swung open. We charged into the billiard room. First glance, everything seemed unchanged. There was no sign that anyone was hiding inside. To me, there was something different. It was the smell. The overwhelming scent of something burnt. What is that smell? With a growing sense of unease, I circled around the billiard room in the center of the room. I didn't want to see the twisted, grotesque corpse again, but I couldn't just leave it be. And sure enough, there it was. The stench of burnt flesh wafted into the air. The body was severely charred, burnt beyond recognition. Oh, what the? Bobby recoiled at the sight of the body, covering his nose. The corpse, twisted in agony as if it collapsed in pain, was still smoldering. The nightmare sight nearly made me gag, the bile rising in my throat as I struggled to hold it back. What the hell's going on? Chase asked, so maybe they are going to kill people. He turned away to avoid looking directly at the body. I knew how he felt. I too wanted nothing more than to look away. Well, the culprit ain't here. Let's head on back. Chase's voice sliced through the tension, and Bobby, his face drained of color, nodded quickly. Yeah, let's get out of here. This is beyond us. Bobby whispered as he turned sharply and made for the door. As for me, I'm gonna be a man. I had forced down my disgust and stepped closer to the body. I crouched down to examine the body further. It had clearly been exposed to intense heat. The entire body charred beyond recognition. But the body was no longer contorted. How? Something was lying beneath the body's arm. I gently pushed it aside to get a better look, but the burnt skin crumbled off with a nauseating crack. Ugh. The repulsiveness of the feeling nearly made me cry out. I bit my tongue and picked up the object. Is this the key ring? It looked familiar. That's right. It resembled the one William always carried. Why is it here? Second scream? A burned body? A keyring? There was so much I didn't understand, but the sight of the body in my peripheral vision kept my thoughts scattered. I turned away and decided to head back to the others. The lounge was silent. Too many terrible things had happened that night. Everyone was at a loss for what to do. Shall I get the tea brewing? Colleen stood up, her expression kind. Good idea. I'll help. Abby chimed in. How many want a cup? Abby looked around the room, counting on her fingers. Colleen, Abby, the three girls, Buchanan's, Bobby, Grace, and myself. 10 people in total. If you exclude William, who was resting in the staff room, everyone was here. I don't like hot things, so no tea for me, Ruby the cat said. A faint chuckle passed through the group. Well then, 10 cups, excluding the cat. Why the fuck is the cat just randomly talking? Abby and Colleen headed off together toward the kitchen. What a night it had been. The screams, the twisted corpse, the Banshee. If I were a better detective, maybe I could piece together the puzzle and find the answer. But I had no idea. Eventually, Colleen and Abby returned and gave out the tea. The fragrant aroma from the cup seemed to ease our nerves. This is beyond us now. I recalled the words that Bobby said earlier. I agreed. What was happening here was beyond our control. Everyone returned to their rooms, locked their doors, and waited for the morning. It was the safest thing to do. I'm not sure who came up with the idea, but we all agreed it was the best course of action. It's a fucked up looking bed. I returned to my room, pulled the sheets over my head, and laid down on the bed. I was completely drained. As midnight drew near, I thought I heard a knock, but I stayed in bed, not moving an inch. I was done with mysteries. No more. I gave up and drifted off to sleep. If only it were a dream. Okay. So what do I gotta do? Hold up. So where did I fuck up? Is it Rising Doubts? We're gonna go to this again. And if things are the same, I'm just gonna back off. I'm not gonna say me, because that's dumb. I don't think Grace is the right answer. I'm just gonna say it's too early to say for sure. It's too early to say for sure. That's right. There aren't enough clues to figure this out. I shook my head. An indescribable, awkward atmosphere filled the lounge. Let's see what happens. Very well. William? Okay, so now we're just going back to. We're just gonna go outside. Okay, that means I'm going to have to fight William again. Oh my god damn, I fucked it up. We're just gonna skip ahead until event menu. Hold on. No. Event menu is probably just going back to the main menu. It's fine. So I. Oh, Jonas isn't around anymore. So it didn't matter. I think I just got an extra fight just because I said big guy earlier. I know I'm right about the Banshee thing, so I'm just gonna keep going with that. I'm trying to get the right answer going, so. Let's keep going. And I'm gonna hurry and follow right behind them. I hurried and followed right behind them. The lounge was silent. Too many terrible things had happened that night. Everyone was at a loss for what to do. Okay, so this is the same. Yeah, okay. Gotcha. So I. Okay then. Oh fuck, it's not that. So then, where did I fuck up? I'm not that far off from being done with this, so it's like, I don't know. Hmm. Let's go to Rising Doubts. There's one more choice I didn't pick. It's gonna be either me or Grace. Let's go with Grace. I pointed an accusatory finger towards Grace. She silently raised her eyes to mine. Even in moments like this, she remained calm. She had previously discussed the killer's intentions. She speculated that the murderer might be lying in wait, and that they could be trying to target someone else. She put herself in the killer's shoes. Of course, this didn't mean she killed herself. She killed someone herself. But I couldn't help but feel that if she were to kill someone, she would remain calm as a kitten. Yep, I still am. This is long. She possessed what seemed to be an absolute She possessed what seemed to be absolute nerves of steel. You're you're just joking, right? Grace replied effortlessly without hesitation. Uh, yeah. I expected her to react even slightly, but this simply brushed off unfazed. Yeah. So we're just gonna go back to that menu. That was that was a waste of time. Where is it? Alright. Let's just get the funny one out of the way, because let's face it, this isn't right either, but we might as well just do it to pick it. Me! I raised both of my hands and gestured to myself. I was alone when the scream echoed through the resort. I pretended to head to the bathroom, slipped out the window, and made my way to the crime scene through the back door. There, I killed John and slid back the same window. That's how a master criminal orchestrates a crime. Of course, this is nothing more than a deduction based on logic, I said, my smile tight as I continued. But the one who's truly suspicious is. It's still. I raised. Narrator turned detective. I was the one who did it. The narrator turned detective, committing the crime. What an astonishing twist! Ha ha ha! I couldn't help but laugh at my own wit. But as I laughed, there was a sudden snap. The sound of something breaking. Joking around! Folks are already jumpy enough! It was Chase. His eyes were bloodshot and veins bulging on his forehead. That snap I heard was the last piece of his patience. Takes a downright fool to get me all riled up. I'm done with your nonsense. Then everyone charged at me with force. I got my ass whooped. Oh, who's this? I don't think that was anyone. I think he had his own move list. Oh god, fighting everybody! I'm just fighting everybody now, alright. I'm on this side. Okay, Jonas. I knew you were Rashid. Shit! My God, fuck you. You did hear Tiger Uppercut. I wonder why you heard that. That's crazy. Who knows? It's a complete mystery. Oh, Abby is in fact Kimberly. Oh, that didn't work. I really am just going through every. No, this is my custom character. Because he looks different. So I have Sagat's moveset, but I have, like, different moves. Like, this is... Actually... This is a Marissa move, but I have, like, all of Sagat's buttons. Oh, fuck. Jesus Christ. Oh. He has fucking that bastard's moveset. Oh, fuck. Bummer. That didn't happen. Nobody saw that. So many. Everyone's got a fighting style, dude. Alright, I'm kind of just eating shit now. Wait a minute. Is that Root the cat is rushed me? Is that everyone? We good? I emerged victorious, despite the odds stacked against me. Gasping for breath, I looked down at the group lying motionless on the floor. The perpetrator was among them. They certainly wouldn't be striking again. The case was solved. A laugh trickled from my throat. Sheer strength. In the end, that's what solves everything. True! Even Sherlock Holmes had a fair bit of muscle to him. This was the way it was meant to be. As I basked in my triumph, a voice suddenly called out. Yoga. Someone suddenly appeared in midair and lunged at me. Oh, hey, you're alive. What's up, buddy? Oh my god, level 100! Who? Nani? Oh fuck, I fucked it up, I fucked it up. Oh, I'm dead. I'm dead as shit. I'm dead as shit. I mean, I accept that as losing here is that's the point. I was knocked to the ground before I could even grasp what was happening. The searing pain blurred my vision. The voice called out again, and the being vanished. Who was that? I felt like I had seen them before I remembered my consciousness slipped away. Yoga to the head. So I knew he wasn't dead. There's 4 out of 15. How are there 15 things? Do I have to start from the beginning? Oh no, this is detailed as shit, dude. And what's okay? What do I do? Let's start here. I forget what the whole. Okay, this was the invitation, right? Okay. We're just gonna. I think so. We're just gonna skip ahead a lot of stuff. All right, we're gonna see what we can do. Because maybe there was another choice. Like, I solved who the Banshee was. I got that all right. I don't understand why. Story didn't keep going. Okay, now we're here. Yada yada yada. We're skipping ahead. So he's not dead. I want to get this done before I have to. wait a minute. I start work at 3. I can totally do. Yeah, both good. Never mind. Screw what I said. I got time. We have so much time. Yeah, it's the cat. Let's. Uh, so we're just gonna end up back at the original choice, like who's the culprit, and yeah, I already did all those, so hmm. Uh, so I don't know what to say here, dude. I feel like I have to make the right choice, but I don't know what exactly. Well, obviously, it's not me. It's not Grace, not Jonas, because that just ends the story. I mean, it's not Bobby, because that just ends the story. So that means either Jonas, or it's too early to say for sure. And it's like it's weird. I'm getting this choice. I'm just gonna say Jonas, I guess. Right? And I'm getting a call randomly on my phone, even though I don't want to fucking talk to anyone right now. 1 minute. Sean, do you want a burger? Yes. All right, I'm back. Ugh. All right. That's just clicking. Yeah. So you know what I'm gonna do? I don't know. Maybe I'm just gonna let myself lose. Get my ass, William. Eat my ass, buddy. It's gonna take you a bit, but you got this. I have faith in you. Go, William. Come on! Come on! So I'm wishing him to beat my ass. Alright, rise up. I guess that's not a choice. Get over here, William. That was worth a chance. That was worth a try. Yeah. And the thing is, I'm right. It's just I'm gonna say Jonas. But William didn't have any slash wounds. Huh? He was right. I quickly added. Okay. I'm more frustrated that I'm. Okay, this is the. This is just us going down to see the burnt body. Yeah. I did both options, so I don't know why. Yeah, no, we're about to just go into the exact same thing again. Yeah. Okay, this is getting a little frustrating. Alright, we start from the beginning. We're still thinking. We're gonna pick completely different choices the entire way through now. And if I don't see anything interesting... God, the 4 and the 5 thing, I should have checked that. Whatever. Okay, so who do I say here? At first, someone like you. You gotta type on. It didn't matter, okay. It didn't matter. I feel like if we get down to that one thing again, I'm about to lose my mind. Nothing is changing. What the fuck? That wasn't. As this funky spicy aroma filled the air. What the fuck? What? What? I was second. Okay, no. Oh, fucker. I gotta read dialogue, hold on. You wanted to work up an appetite, huh? Nothing better than curry on an empty stomach, right? A conversation echoed from out of the dining hall. When I returned, the trio of girls were gathered together. Yeah, no, everything just changed. What the fuck? They were talking over a crumpled paper napkin. I leaned in to take a look. The napkin had something written on it. The night at... What the fuck? The red stain looks like a cayenne pepper, and something smells sweet too. Grace stepped closer, her eyes scanning the napkin intently. They must have been writing 12 Spice Challenge, a contest to see whose curry can pack the most heat. Grace declared, causing a tense silence to fall over us. A curry challenge? This could get deadly. What the fuck? William muttered, peeking out from the kitchen. Curry challenge? How stupid is this? Before I could finish, a sudden, violent impact hit me. What's wrong with his body? Why is he doing that? Did one of y'all just say curry challenge? I was sent sprawled by Chase, who had run into me with all his might. I don't think I'm going in the right direction. My vision began to fade. When I came to, I was lying on the dining room floor. The aroma of curry filled the air all around me. I see you decided to join us again. William leaned over me, a pot in his hand. Since you called the curry challenge stupid, you'll be the one to decide who curries the best. Fuck. It sounds like 1 minute. Oh, I hate to do it right now, but I'm gonna say I'm not quitting the stream. I'm just gonna come right back. One minute. All right, I hate to do this. Yeah. All right, I hate to do this. I'm not gonna have time to get into more of this. I'm gonna have to do this another time. I'm gonna save here. You all have a good day. Liam, be quiet.